You want the nonsense?
Tell him we going some Canelo next.
Yes. Let's
Tell him.
go. Canelo, come on.
You heard it from him.
Crawford, who is 36 years old, has made it clear that he only wants fights that will go down in history. The fight with Canelo Alvarez seems like the biggest one right now. For months, Crawford has had his eye on it, and the Mexican superstar sees it as the best way to prove that he is one of the best fighters of all time. Turkey is on their side, and it looks like they have finally bought Canelo because the boxer has agreed to the deal. Errol Spence was no match for Crawford in the fight that changed the course of his career. In that fight, Crawford, also known as Bud, showed everything that makes him great. He won the welterweight class and cemented his place in history. He knew from the first bell that Spence, his biggest threat, would lose. Crawford was faster, stronger, and smarter in the fight than Spence. Crawford stopped Spence in the 9th round and won all 9 rounds. He was the first male fighter in the history of 4 belt fights to go undefeated into weight classes.
He's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better. No, Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He's a good fighter, but like I say, he's weight classes for.
After his amazing game against Spence, Crawford is now setting his goals even higher. He is targeting Canelo Alvarez, a fighter 3 weight divisions above him and possibly the biggest star in boxing for Crawford's legacy. Legacy is at stake in this fight. He's not looking for straightforward wins or smaller discs. He wants to be known as the best, and a fight with Canelo seems like the best way to do that. Canelo, on the other hand, has been hesitant about facing the naturally smaller Crawford, despite Crawford's incredible accomplishments. Canelo has repeatedly downplayed the chance of the fight, saying that he wouldn't get credit for beating a smaller opponent. Canelo, who fights at 168 pounds, views Crawford, who last fought at 147, as simply not in his league when it comes to size and power. Initially, Canelo dismissed Crawford's offer outright. He even offered that Crawford should face Timo Lopez first, an idea that many saw as a way for Canelo to avoid the fight.
Fight Teofimo first, and then we'll see, right? At the end of the day, like I said before, I'm not asking for that fight. They wanna make that fight because it's a payday, obviously, but I don't want that fight. I think.
But Crawford wasn't backing down. As more and more fans and analysts began asking for the fight, that heat on Canelo began to mount. Crawford, relentless as ever, continued to call him out openly, and the desire for the fight only grew. Things took an intriguing turn after Canelo's recent fight against Edgar Berlanga. The Mexican superstar faced off against Berlanga in what many expected to be a routine win for Canelo. Berlanga, though undefeated, was seen as a heavy underdog and not on the same level as Canelo. Yet Berlanga surprised everyone with his toughness and determination. The fight started as many expected, with Canelo controlling early in the 3rd round. Canelo landed a flush left hook that sent Berlanga crashing to the floor. At that time, it seemed like the fight was heading toward an early knockout, but Berlanga had other plans. He got up, banged his gloves together in anger, and fought on. Although Canelo won the fight easily on the scorecards, Berlanga managed to go the full 12 rounds, something not many expected. The fight ended in a split decision, with the judges scoring heavily in Canelo's favor. Canelo connected on nearly 50% of his power punches, a number that underlined his dominance. However, the fact that he was unable to stop Berlanga caused some concerns. Questions. Canelo hasn't won a knockout since his 11th round stoppage of KB Plant in November 2021, and this is now his 5th straight fight. Going the distance, some fans are starting to wonder whether Thean's deadly finisher has lost some of his power. Though his loyal supporters remain as devoted as ever, Canelo's failure to put Berlanga away may not have meant much to his fans, but it certainly added an intriguing dimension to the conversations about his future opponents. Despite his victory, Canelo's mind quickly turned to what came next. During the post-fight news conference, he was asked about possible future opponents, including Crawford initially. Canelo refused to speak on the chance of facing Crawford, a move that seemed to reinforce his previous stance of dismissing the fight.
Put out an open challenge to you on the internet with Turkey Al-Sheikh calling you out. What's your response to Terence Crawford's call out tonight?
No comment.
But behind the scenes, something was changing. Well, as it turns out, the financial offer for a Crawford fight has grown greatly. We remember that Canelo was criticized for the amount of money he was asking for this fight, and it was one reason that His Excellency and even Oscar La Hoya saw it as unrealistic. But it seems after what Canelo displayed after Berlanga Crawford and the Saudis saw Canelo putting on a lower performance.
Canelo, a legend recognizes another young beast. Well done, well done.
And perhaps it's this questionable performance that has pushed their confidence that Crawford can indeed put down Kano, therefore now giving into his money requests. But as one of the highest paid athletes in the world, Canelo's decisions are often influenced by the purse, and this time was no different. While Canelo had earlier dismissed Crawford, the money on the table now seemed to have caught his attention.
Realistically left your mind once he said he's not interested, or you still pursuing it?
Not at all. I think business talk.
Now Canelo is finally ready to entertain the idea of fighting Crawford, but with one key condition: the terms of the fight have to make sense financially given Canelo's star power and the fact that he commands some of the biggest paydays in the sport. This situation isn't surprising for Crawford. This could be the break he's been waiting for.
Easy work. I heard him say, I'm easy work. If I was easy work, you would take all that money that he's offering you. But yet and still, he want 200 million for Benavidez, and he want 150 million to fight me. So that just lets me know right there that I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to him, I'm a threat to his...
Canelo's openness to the fight has reignited the talk around POSME about the clash between two undisputed champions from different weight classes would be a historic event drawing huge attention from fans all over the world for Crawford. The stakes couldn't be higher. This would be the ultimate telegecy fight, a chance to move up 3 classes and face one of the greatest fights of the modern age.
About me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. So that's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. So let's not.
While Crawford's eyes are totally on Canelo, Canelo may end up picking another opponent, while Canelo's camp has other choices on the table as well. One of the more talked about choices is a rematch with Dmitry Bivol, the Russian heavyweight champion who gave Canelo his second professional loss in May 2022. BV's win over Canelo was convincing, with Bivol using his size and skill to outbox the Mexican over 12 rounds. Canelo has been eyeing a return ever since, but talks have stalled due to Bivolman's. Interestingly, BVVL has stated multiple times that he is ready to drop down to 168 pounds for their match, aiming to show that his victory wasn't just a result of his size advantage. If Bivol were to move down to super middleweight and meet Canelo, the fight would take on a whole new importance. However, with Bivol currently set to face Roar BBV in a light heavyweight unification fight in October, the timing for a Canelo-Bivol rematch remains uncertain. Sensational Urbia versus Dmitry Bivol, and a third choice for Canelo is to continue protecting his super middleweight titles against younger and defeated counters. Fighters like Christian Endi and Diego Po are both ranked highly in the super middleweight division and could provide fresh tests for Canelo. Endi is known for his aggressive all-action style, making battles exciting. However, neither Emily nor Po are seen as a real threat to death throw Canelo, but even with these options, it's clear that a fight with Crawford holds the most intrigue. The financial incentives are enormous, and the fight would surely be one of the biggest events in recent boxing history. For Canelo, this would be an opportunity to silence critics who believe he has been avoiding the most dangerous challenges in recent years, and for Crawford, it's a chance to prove that he can compete and perhaps even win against one of the sport's greatest fighters. Despite the size disadvantage, the logistics of the fight would need to be worked out, especially around weight. Canelo usually fights at 168 pounds, while Crawford's last bout was at 147. A catch weight seems like the most likely answer, but the exact number would be a point of discussion. Both boxes would also need to agree on purse, with Canelo likely getting the lion's share given his star power and drawing ability.
Johnny Boy Boxing Fight Hype. I just want to ask you, what do you think about Terence Crawford? What do we think about Terence Crawford's performance, and do you want to get a fight with him?
If the money is right,
$100 million. I heard Turkey offered you a big money already.
As things stand, the fight hasn't been officially announced, but with the money right and Canelo finally accepting the idea, all signs are moving toward it becoming a reality, with both fighters showing interest and the financial side starting to align. It seems only a matter of time before this historic clash is set in motion, while Canelo has made it clear that the financial terms must be right. The growing interest in the fight from fans, media, and promoters suggests that those terms will likely be met by Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, and closer to the chance of a blockbuster fight. The conversation continues to revolve around both the challenges and rewards that a fight of this size would bring. Like Alvarez, Crawford is no stranger to success. He has conquered for weight classes and established himself as one of boxing's top pound-for-pound champions. However, for Crawford to face Alvarez for his super middleweight crowns, it would take an enormous leap, both literally and figuratively. Crawford would need to move up to weight classes to face Alvarez. It's a huge jump for any boxer, but especially for Crawford, who has only fought once above the welterweight limit of 147 pounds. Lone fight at 154 pounds against Uzbekistan Israel Matov ended in a unanimous decision victory on August 3rd in Los Angeles. However, his careful and tactical approach in that fight raised questions about whether he can handle the size, strength, and power of top fighters at higher weight classes. This dynamic adds a layer of intrigue to a possible Crawford-Alvarez fight. Canelo himself has voiced concerns about not getting the credit he gets if he defeats Crawford. Despite Crawford's unbeaten record of 410 with 31 knockouts, the Mexican superstar thinks that the narrative of Crawford being a smaller, naturally lighter fight would overshadow his promise. Victory Alvarez has made it clear that defeating Crawford would not be viewed as impressive as beating a real super middleweight contender like David Benowitz, for example, but even with that, he still hasn't fought Benowitz. The size disparity is also why Alvarez is allegedly demanding an in-figure payday to play Crawford. Such a massive financial request highlights the risks involved for Alvarez, as he would be expected to win, but any slip-up could tarnish his image, and even if he does emerge victorious, critics may downplay the accomplishment due to Crawford's smaller frame and limited experience at higher weights. But still, this fight has caught the imagination of fans and media alike. Despite the weight difference, it marks a clash between the pound-for-pound kings, each looking to cement his reputation in the sport. Crawford, despite the odds, remains the most appealing choice for Alvarez if the Mexican star decides not to fight Benowitz, a hard-hitting undefeated WBC interim super middleweight champ. Although Crawford would enter the fight as a heavy underdog, the matchup itself will generate significant attention from mainstream media and create massive income streams, positioning it as arguably the biggest fight in boxing at the time. However, there are problems that go beyond just weight classes and paydays. One of the major hurdles in making this fight a reality is Alvarez's friendship with Turkey. Over the past year, Alec has become one of boxing's most powerful figures due to his deep financial investment. However, Alvarez's failure to fight Benowitz has led to a public falling out between the two. Alec recently took to social media to attack Alvarez for dodging the fight with Benowitz, escalating tensions between them. Despite the war of words, the vast sums of money at stake have a way of getting over such differences. Alvarez is already one of the richest athletes in boxing, having made more money than his family could spend over multiple generations. But as he has proven throughout his career, he's as much of a businessman as he is a fighter. If the cash offer for a fight with Crawford is lucrative enough, Alvarez may be ready to put aside his feud with Alec to make the fight happen. Interestingly, Alvarez has shown that he's willing to suffer criticism if it means getting the right fight. His recent decision to fight Edgar Berlanga, an opponent who many thought unworthy of the chance drew review as from fans. Still, Alvarez pressed forward, knowing that as long as the business side made sense, the scrutiny was something he could handle. The same concept applies to a fight with Crawford, despite Crawford being smaller and less experienced at higher weights. His position as an elite undefeated fighter and a future Hall of Famer would bring enough credibility and intrigue to make the fight a commercial success. In many ways, Alvarez and Crawford need each other to make the biggest fight possible at this point in their lives. Both fighters are nearing the end of their individual journeys in thirring, and each has accomplished nearly everything there is to achieve in the sport. However, neither fighter is particularly interested in facing the younger, hungry challengers in their own divisions. For Crawford, that means avoiding dangerous welterweights like WBC interim super welterweight champion Virgil Ortiz Jr. and IBF champion Kim Boots. And while these fights would certainly boost his resume, they don't offer the same financial or legacy-defining rewards as a fight with Alvarez. Crawford, who turns 37 in September, understands the business side of boxing just as well as Alvarez does. He knows that a fight with Alvarez could earn him a 9-figure payday, aligning him with Alec and making the bout even more feasible from a financial perspective rather than taking on the risks associated with fighting younger, more dangerous opponents like Ortiz or Enos. Crawford seems set on betting it all against a bigger, stronger elite-level fighter in Alvarez. Of course, this move hasn't come without opposition. Some have accused Crawford of chasing a payday instead of greatness, suggesting that he is looking for an easier path to a large financial reward, but Crawford remains unapologetic. He has made it clear that at this stage of his career he's looking for the biggest challenges and the biggest paydays, and right now Alvarez offers both. For now, all we know is that Crawford can't wait to meet Canelo in the ring. He took to social media after Canelo's most recent bout, posting on X simple but bold statement, "Put me in the game, coach." It was a direct message clearly signaling his readiness to step up and face Alvarez, the current king of the super middleweight division. It's no secret that Crawford has been eyeing Alvarez for some time, but his recent social media statement feels like a serious push toward making this fight real. With an unbeaten record, Crawford is a 4-division world champion and sits comfortably among the top pound-for-pound fighters in the sport. However, a fight against Alvarez, who fights to weight classes above him at 168 pounds, would require Crawford to move up significantly, a daunting task but one that could cement his legacy if he pulls off the upset turkey. Alec has put more fuel to the fire. Alec, who has become one of boxing's biggest stars, stated after Crawford's win last month that he's ready to put real money on the table to make the fight happen. According to ESPN's Mike Coper, Alec said, "I will give Canelo what he think is a fair price. If he takes it, he talks directly with me to finish the deal. I don't want anyone in the middle. I promise Crawford a big fight. I want Canelo for Crawford, and Crawford wants Canelo." Alec's comments showed just how committed he is to securing this blockbuster fight, which has the potential to cause massive global attention. His statement also suggests that he's ready to deal directly with Alvarez and bypass any promotional middleman. This kind of direct way could help streamline the process and avoid some of the usual complications that often appear when dealing with boxing contracts.
Before, and this is my opinion, I don't start to talking about these things. He start and he said he respects me, and but he doesn't like what we are doing in boxing. That's why I said what I said.
However, there is a catch. They hinted at a possible stumbling block to Canelo's financial demands. But if Canelo is crazy with his financial demands, I will still promise Crawford any fight he wants. Alala kept making it clear that while he is fully committed to getting Alvarez and Crawford together, he won't let excessive demands derail Crawford's chances for a big payday. Well, with that now figured out, we might be seeing a fight between Canelo and Crawford off soon. What do you think? Share your ideas below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more information. See you in the next one.